there are two types of consistency. One that will burn you out, which you're probably using, and which I've used for a long time. Like, I didn't know there are different ways to be consistent. I just thought that to be consistent, you had to set these big goals and then strive towards it. And so I would set like the big goal of doing 100 push-ups a day, or the big goal of going to the gym 3 times, or the big goal of writing an entire book and writing chapters, like spending hours writing chapters every single day. Like, I would be proud of myself if I spent like most of the day lazy and then got myself up to write for 2 hours straight. I was so proud of myself. But that was the consistency that was going to burn me out, because consistency is not about doing the best and doing the biggest thing every single time. That's not consistency. Of course, that's not what you hear, because most people, when they talk about consistency, they're always like, yeah, you gotta go big, go home. You know, like, no. Consistency is not like that. And until you learn the second type of consistency, you will never be insanely consistent when it comes to any of your goals. But luckily, you clicked this video, so I'm going to tell you the second type of consistency, right? But before we get into that, who am I? My name is Faith, and my goal is to help entrepreneurs, creators, and high achievers reach their goals by teaching you how to take action, stay consistent, and make your goals happen. And if you fall into any of those buckets, you might as well go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I do make videos like this every single day, because I want to help you reach your goals. So we already talked a little bit about the first type of consistency. And before we get into the second type, the type that you can do every single day that will not burn you out, that will keep you insanely consistent, I want to dive more into why this first type of consistency is wrong. I don't know why I struggled to say that word, but hopefully I don't struggle again. So the problem with this first type of consistency, I'm going to call this the do a lot consistency. The problem is, when you try to do a lot every single day, you're going to burn out, because it takes so much energy, especially when you haven't built up to that. Like, you right now, you have not done the good habits you want to do consistently. Have you? You probably haven't. And yet, when you try to do these new habits, you try to add something new into your life, what do you always do? You always strive to reach these high levels that you can't maintain. And so when you try to be consistent, you try to do way too much without understanding that if you want to do a lot, you got to build up to it. Like, if you want to climb to the top of the ladder, you don't just jump up and immediately reach the top of the rung. No, you start at the very bottom and climb your way up to the very top. Well, consistency is the same way. You can get to these high levels of performance, but if you have not done it before, you're not used to it, you can't just jump to that, because it's gonna take so much energy. Eventually, like, when you're motivated, you don't need energy, because you're motivated. Like, you're gonna do it. You're gonna be like, yeah, I'm hype. But the minute motivation leaves and you have to rely on discipline, you're not gonna stay consistent. You're gonna fall off. And so that is why this first type of consistency will never work for you, because it does not give you time to build up to where you want to be at. You just have the idea that you can just start at that level, but no, you can't, and that's okay, right? You can build up to, like, that can be a goal for you to get to where you want to be at, but right now we gotta take it slow, okay? So this leads us to the second type of consistency, and this is what I call the bare minimum consistency. And because of this type, I have been able to work out and write over 1,000 days in a row. I've been able to read over 900 days and meditate, I think, over 700 days in a row. I have posted one YouTube video every single day for the past 6 months, even without getting that much views. And how? Because I've learned how to do the bare minimum type of consistency, which I'm going to teach you. So, what does this mean? Basically what it says, if you want to be consistent, if you want to be insanely consistent, in the beginning, do the bare minimum. How does that go from, like, I used to never write, I used to never work out, I used to never do anything. Like, I used to be the laziest bum you ever knew. Like, literally, I was so lazy. I'm not kidding. I was so lazy, I wouldn't even take a shower, even though I was musty. Like, I could smell I was musty. I wouldn't take a shower because I just wanted to lay around and not do anything. It would take for my mom to walk in my room and say, girl, you need a shower, for me to actually get up and shower. I was so lazy. I would cook ramen, like, in the microwave, get it all good, have it in the bowl, eat it. I wouldn't finish all of it. And so instead of putting it up in the refrigerator, I would just leave it on the table, leave it on my dresser, go to sleep, wake up, I would not warm up the ramen because I just didn't feel like it, and I would just eat it cold. So I was down bad before I was able to change things around. And I was only able to change things around by doing the bare minimum. And I'm stressing this because you are not going to want to do it, because your ego is going to say, oh, doing something small, that's beneath me. I want to do something big. I want to be able to say I did 100 push-ups, and that I cut out all the junk food, and that I ran for 2 hours a day, and that I meditated, and that I ran. You can say that, and then you will burn out. If you can do the bare minimum, like I'm going to suggest you do, I promise you can reach to those levels you want to reach. How did I go from not writing at all to writing over 1,000 days in a row? By telling myself in the very beginning, on day 1, my goal is to write 1 word a day. That is it. That is the bare minimum that I subscribe to. 1 word a day. And that's exactly what I did. And by doing 1 word a day, literally, I would just open up a laptop and say, put in the. Easy. But what that did was, it built the habit of me opening up my laptop and typing. Opening up the laptop and writing. It started to solidify my identity as a writer. And over time, it just became a habit for me to open up my laptop and start to write. By doing the bare minimum, I built the habit of writing. And once the habit is built, now you can ramp it up and you can start doing more and doing more. See, staying consistent is all about building the habit first. And the only way to build a habit is to make it so easy for you to show up to do it. And the best way to make it easy is for you to make it into a bare minimum act. So how can you make the things you want to do a bare minimum so you can build it into a habit, and once it's into a habit, you can ramp it up and you'll stay consistent without falling off? By asking yourself, how can you do this new thing in 2 minutes, in under 2 minutes? So whatever that is, whatever you want to do, how can you do it in under 2 minutes? And then make yourself do it for just 2 minutes, and don't try to push yourself. You want to stop when you're feeling good. Don't stop when you're like, okay, I'm getting tired, I don't want to do this. Have the discipline to stop when you're feeling good, because when you're feeling good, it's like you're ending on a cliffhanger, and the next day you're like, oh, I felt good doing that thing, I want to go back to it. But if you push yourself and you feel like complete crap and that's how you end it, the next day you're going to think about that crappy feeling, and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I don't feel like doing that. That's like a little side note, like stop when you're feeling good. And the 2-minute rule will help you do that. For instance, if you want to work out more, you could say, I'm just going to do 2 push-ups. If you want to work on a new skill, say, I'll just practice it for 30 seconds. If you want to call your family more, just say, I'm going to call them and just say, hi, hello, a few greetings, and then hang up the phone. You feel me? As long as you can make that new thing you want to do under 2 minutes, now it'll be easy for you to stay consistent, because first of all, it doesn't take much energy to do those things. It's hard to do 5 push-ups. It's hard to call your family for 20 seconds. It's hard to write for 30 seconds. No, it's not hard at all. It does not take any energy. So you can just go ahead and knock it out. Now what happens is, you're going to keep doing those small things, it'll eventually turn to a habit, and now you can ramp up to the levels you want to be, and you won't fall off. You'll actually be insanely consistent because it's a habit. Consistency is really all about doing the small things until it becomes a habit. And the small things, I mean the bare minimum. And the last thing I want to point out is, once you make it into a habit to do those things, I want you to always keep it on the back of your mind that if you're having a bad day, you can easily fall back to the bare minimum. Like, always say, set your goal as the bare minimum, but do more if you want to once you built the habit. Like, this is something I still do. Sometimes, like, I meditate 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day. I write for a few hours. I go for walks 4 hours a day. But sometimes I will drop down to the bare minimum depending on how I feel. Because consistency isn't about doing the best every single day. It's just about showing up. You feel me? And so sometimes I will meditate for 2 minutes. Sometimes I'll write 1 word. Sometimes I'll read 1 page. Not all the time anymore, but sometimes I do have those days. So it is completely fine when you reach those levels you want to reach to have days where you just do the bare minimum. Because that's ultimately what consistency is about. It's about just showing up however you can. Hopefully this video makes sense to you. Let me know in the comments what you want to be consistent on and how you're going to use the bare minimum rule to stay consistent on that. Now, of course, like I said, once it becomes a habit, you can ramp it up, but always keep it on the back of your mind that you can always fall back to the bare minimum, because what is consistency? It's just showing up. Not showing up and showing out, not showing up being perfect, not showing up and being your world record devil. It's just showing up, alright? So if you stuck around this long and you have not subscribed yet, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. Come on, give me a thumbs up, and as always, remember, take action, stay consistent, make your goals happen, and I will see you later.